Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Nadi Digital Economy Malaysia. And with me is my colleague, Dzof Azmi. And we're going to start off with one of the very important stories in Malaysia. And we are one of the few, we are apparently the fourth country in the world to try to roll out a single 5G network. And I know we've spoken about this before, but what's interesting is that of course, this being Malaysia, there's a lot of skepticism about the award, being given to a government company to roll out 5G. And also now that they have actually awarded the 5G contract to build the network to Ericsson, there is now, people are wondering, why are you paying 11 billion when apparently the next closest bid was 5.5 billion ringgit? And Digital Nasional Bhd, DNB, has come out to clarify that actually there's multifaceted components to the award, and the 11 billion is for end-to-end of the award over the 10-year period. Apparently, one of the vendors bid 5.5 billion for one portion of the award. It does not include rental for the towers that they have to pay for. They're literally going to be using 10,000 towers or more by the time they fully roll out all over the country. You got to pay for rental of the tower. You got to pay for rental of power, and you got to pay for the fiber leasing also, because fiber is super critical for 5G. And they said that 5.5 billion doesn't factor in that. And credit DNB to actually come out with a clarification. Of course, this being Malaysia, some people are still not happy, but I really feel that there's no hanky-panky going on there with the award to Ericsson. And also, you can go and read the article, but actually they also emphasize that, and I didn't know this before, that the award to Ericsson's bid was 700 million ringgit, which is about 170 million US, cheaper than the next closest. And really the next closest is obviously Huawei. Yep. And also they mentioned that Ericsson, in the bidding, Ericsson came out number one in the three key areas, right? Technical capabilities, commercial, and socio-economic. And I want to point out that for the first time, they brought it up that Ericsson is going to contribute about 4 billion ringgit, which is almost $1 billion US, over the period of the contract in socio-economic benefits, in upskilling and in capacity building for Malaysians and doing many things. And I think that is a very important component of the contract. Credit to DNB for extracting that from Ericsson. And of course, now I hope that we have a party that will measure actually that 4 billion ringgit, right, over the 10-year period, because easily it can get lost. So I hope some NGO or whatever will say that, hey, we want to measure this, and let's track that Ericsson fulfilled its word. So look, go and read that press release. You can read it from The Edge, you can read it from DNA, from Lawyat, whoever, everyone carried it. Very good explanation by DNB. Dzof, do you want to add anything to this?
Yeah, I mean, just we tend not to talk about political stuff, but we have to be upfront here, and that the comment that somebody else delivered a cheaper solution which was not taken up was a political comment, right? And this is how it happens. I just want to say that
political. Let's say it out, right? Look, there's the opposition leader, Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim. He had a press conference to say that we're not happy. Of course, it was social media that took it up first, and it came to his radar, and he felt it's worthwhile to bring it up. And it was after he brought it up that DNB then came up with this press release, which I thought was very comprehensive. So I think they've done their part. But I know somebody from within Anwar's circle also then messaged me to say that we feel that there's still some issues there. And I actually told them, look, why don't you ask for a briefing, right? With DNB, ask them to give you a briefing. Do not publicize it first, and after the briefing, you can share your comments on whichever platform you want to say, oh, okay, now we understand. And DNB with the job.
Yeah, there are a few issues. I mean, I think for me, for example, one issue is it started as a great thing that the government doesn't need to spend anything extra, right, over and above.
Incredible, right? Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mention that. DNB, sorry, Dzof, exactly. DNB mentioned that they actually won't be needing any money from the government because they're going to get vendor, financing from Ericsson, and DNB is going to securitize the whole thing. And that is stunning, okay? I don't think ever the government has been willing to fork out X billion of dollars for to roll out an infrastructure project. And then the party that is responsible has come back to say, hey, you know what? We're actually not going to need any money from you. That's astounding. It's amazing.
And so I mean, to me, immediately it goes, well, is this completely entirely privatized? Does that mean that the customer will have to bear the burden? Is this necessarily what we want going forward? There are all these questions, which I think are fair questions. Maybe not issues now, but they're going to be issues coming down when we, especially when you're talking about whether the internet should be considered a public utility or not,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely, yes.
So anyway, I look forward to the debate on that one.
I think DNB will. I mean, I'm looking forward to the press conference from them, and hopefully we will get DNB executives to elaborate more that we can bring on, and talk about it, during our show also, right? But let's move on to the next story now, which is also related to that, because DNB is all about 5G. And transparency with 5G, and this is an attempt to be transparent. And Dzof, I'll let you take this one before I chip in, as I always do.
JENDELA had a press conference earlier this week, and as I said, they promised to have regular press conferences about the progress of telecommunications in Malaysia. So it's not specifically 5G, it's 3G and 4G, yes, or the upgrading of the towers. And one of the things which was interesting is that they said that they would have this live map, right, that would show you what the status of signal is in the country. I need to point out that before this, you would look at websites like nperf.com, which would show this based on data collected by users. But this is, I guess, the official map of network quality across the country. And I think, Karam, you said you were excited. Not only is there a coverage map, there's also a place for users to give feedback, and there's also the status of the feedback. And you thought, well, this is great. This is some transparency, I think, Karam. I mean, you attended the press conference.
When you complain, right, about something, the coverage not good enough, they will actually then give you an update on your complaint, and that is just fabulous. And I was in the briefing actually, so we're recording this on a Saturday evening, and there was a briefing by the MC chairman, Dr. Fadullah, yesterday, giving an update of Q2, right? And he mentioned that they were quite excited about rolling out this map. It is now on a website, web-based, but they're going to launch the app-based version soon. So look out for that. And also, one thing I like is that he said that right now, most of the gaps are in the really rural areas. And they are actually opening up tenders for 840 sites which are in the rural areas. And they're going to use satellite to cover this. So that's wonderful. You can get it done very fast, and I'm looking forward to progress, and I'm looking forward to when they announce which are the parties that have been given chunks of the work, right, to roll out coverage in these 840 sites. So looking forward to that and for progress. And I urge everyone who's interested in how 4G, especially, right, the coverage of 4G is going in Malaysia to bookmark this website and continually go and check it out.
Yeah, I think we're moving on to Karam from flights of fancy or future fancy. I guess we talk about AirAsia because Tony Fernandez, your good friend Tony, has just went and spent $50 million on a company in Thailand. What's this about, Karam?
Well, I'm glad you said spend. He has not spent any money. What he has done is AirAsia super app. So AirAsia is trying to transform, and they've always been transforming, right? He mentioned like 6 years ago that they are a digital company. He's the first brick and mortar company in Malaysia to declare we're a digital company. And that was at a conference DNA organized. And I was, listening to him when he was staying there on stage. But that aside, look, so now they're taking up to the next level. They want the AirAsia.com to be, they've declared it to be a super app, and they want it to be a super app in Southeast Asia. And already they're very strong in Malaysia, right? So they have now taken over Gojek's business in Thailand. For Gojek, this is about prioritizing the assets and prioritizing their resources. They don't want to compete in Thailand. They've decided that it's too difficult, and Thailand will take too much of their resources. They rather do Vietnam and Singapore. And one of their co-founders actually was in the media briefing which I attended, and he mentioned that we're just going to prioritize these two countries. We will back out from Thailand, but we've built assets on the ground. AirAsia will take over those assets in exchange for $50 million worth of shares in AirAsia.com. Okay, so AirAsia has not put out any money to take over their business, and the business there is quite significant from the point of view that they've got about 40,000 riders in Thailand, and they've got 40,000 merchants. Okay, so this is a base, and although they've got a e-payment, they've got a fintech play there. It's very small. So Tony says that AirAsia will bring its big pay and bring its teleport, its logistics, and its e-wallet into the Thai market now, while building on the base of riders and merchants, and of course customers who use this like in Thailand. But I got to tell you, it's going to be a hard sell, because I looked in the Bangkok Post and they quoted a company that did a report of how the food delivery market in Thailand is going, and this was a January of 2021 report. And they mentioned the key players as Line. You know, Japan's Line is a big presence in Indonesia, in Thailand. So Gojek, Grab Food has got almost 50% of the market. Then you've got Food Panda, 20%, and these other players about 20%. So literally less than 9% of the market is left for everyone else. They didn't even mention Gojek being a key player in the food delivery market. So I think Tony has got his work cut out for him, but he's excited because he's got a base. And Tony says that we took over Gojek in Thailand because we've got a stronger brand name in Thailand than Gojek, and we've got a bigger brand value, and we are in many more cities in Thailand, and we want to take all these assets and grow the business. It's going to be really tough because he has to put in money to grow the business. He has to, when you put in money, you're going to compete by giving, discounts to people to use your service. But Tony's all excited, and if you look at his LinkedIn profile, he had this amazing picture of him leaping up for joy, right? And saying that I'm super excited. But my article actually says that he must be super excited about something else. And you know, Gojek together, Tokopedia, they've merged together under a company called GoTo. I think they are going to go, and they are going to go for listing probably in the US and a dual listing in Jakarta. I suspect that when they go for listing, they're probably going to try to take a stake in AirAsia Group proper, right? So that they've got a piece of a physical business in Southeast Asia. And by doing that also, then they are also in the Philippines, in a market where they are not at now. AirAsia is at, and in Malaysia, you know, Tokopedia and Gojek are not in Malaysia. Malaysia is a significant market in Southeast Asia. AirAsia is a powerhouse here. So it makes sense that this deal happened, because Tony being excited about this deal doesn't make sense, right? He has to put in money to invest. And somebody who knows, some senior executive in Gojek, said the upside is all there for Gojek. And I'm just looking at my phone because he sent me a WhatsApp. The deal has got zero risk for Gojek. And if anyone who knows Tony, Tony doesn't give anyone a good deal, okay? And this is a great deal for Gojek. So there must be something else there. When I'm thinking it is that when they go for this US, and I could be totally wrong, and all of you guys could say that DNA Karamjit doesn't know shit, that's fine, I totally accept that. But I suspect there's something more at play here. And you know, they said that Gojek letting go is like how Uber let go of, you know, of Southeast Asia, and they took, instead in exchange they took a stake in Grab. So this is kind of that play. And for Gojek also now, that I think they're getting like almost a 5% stake, though that 50 million translate to almost 5% stake in Gojek, in AirAsia Super App. And if AirAsia Super App does so well that they list themselves, that's a beautiful upside for Gojek. So there's something's further at play here than just AirAsia, right? As market entry into Thailand, a market where they're already into the airline, but it's through their super app now. So let's see whether this plays out, and we'll know within 6 months actually whether what I'm saying makes sense or not, right?
Yeah, I mean, Tony said Gojek is the only unicorn in Southeast Asia that actually.
That was nasty, man. That was spicy and nasty, right? So literally, you know, he's taking a dig at Grab. I suspect the main party is taking a dig at just Grab, not SEA, which is based out of Singapore. And you know, when he said that, it's kind of ironic because Tokopedia is a unicorn, and Tokopedia has merged with Gojek, right? So I don't know whether Tony realized that.
Well, I think the messaging wasn't against Tokopedia. Let's put it, put it like that.
Totally not. Okay, now let's go quickly to the fintech, right? So this literally, I'll go with this. One of the Malaysian fintech companies which launched in 2015 by two bankers, they've just closed their Series A. Significant is the amount of money. It's about almost 19 million ringgit, 18.5 million, and that translates to being $4.4 million US. And what is significant is that this fintech, which is in the they're in the remittance space, and they're also in trying to allow merchants to send money overseas, right, when they're doing cross-border trade, is that they closed the first part of this Series A in 2019, and now they're closing. So it's taken them literally almost 2 years to close their Series A.
I mean, is this normal, Karam, to take this long to close something like this?
Literally, is COVID normal? No, right? So COVID has put a spanner in everything. And I really admire the entrepreneurs for their commitment and their dedication and their drive, right? And their focus to keeping their eyes on the ball and keeping their team motivated. Say, guys, don't worry, we will close this round, we will get it done. Don't worry, like the money will come in and we'll be able to do more. And what they plan to do more is they already have a presence in Singapore and in another market they mentioned, and I think whether it's Thailand, in Indonesia, Hong Kong, and they're going to use this money to further deepen their presence there and really run, because Singapore is super competitive, but they are all excited to get it going. And by the way, their lead investor is actually a brick and mortar company, right? An investment bank called KAF.
Yes.
So KAF is probably a mid-tier investment bank in Malaysia, and the founders are very low-key. I tried to get them to get the founders to put a code so we could use in the article. They came back, they said no, founders want to stay low profile, but it's quite exciting, and really congratulations to MoneyMatch.
Yeah, my only comment about this is that MoneyMatch, actually they were founded in 2015, right? But they were one of the first companies to get, one of the first companies to get into Bank Negara's sandbox.
Yep.
And I mean, it feels like a long journey, even though there's still only a Series A.
It is a long journey. It's difficult. The field is so crowded. There's so many players already in Malaysia, and Singapore is even crazier. So the margins are so low. You really got to zoom in on a particular market segment and do outstanding job there, right? In killer customer service and cement yourself, then move on to the next market. So it's a difficult play. So that's why I'm really pleased that they got the funding close.
Cross-border remittance is one of those things that kind of sounds very basic and straightforward, but you really got to get it right in order to.
Tell me about it.
And it may put them in good stead as the digital banks roll out in Malaysia. I can see a lot of them wanting to add cross-border remittance as a service, and I think
absolutely, it's a must-have.
So from a must-have to must need. We're now moving to a slightly more serious topic. It's about, you may have heard about the Bendera Putih movement, Karam, that sort of came to prominence last week, where people who need help during this pandemic can get help by literally waving a white flag outside their house. That's, of course, raised a lot of comments and support as well. And two of the things that came up were these two apps, right? The digital equivalents of these white flags. One is an app called Sambal SOS, a play on the pun sambal sauce, as it were, which were made by a group of students at MMU. And another one is an app called Kita Jaga. And Kita Jaga is an app that's made by a local developer.
I know the entrepreneur. I know the company. Very legit, very solid guys.
Yes, I mean, this is not a nobody. I mean, I know of him as well. So in both cases, if you use the app, it will sort of give you a map, and then overlaid on the map are either places who are willing to supply help, or places that need help, or food banks. I think there's nothing wrong in downloading the app and looking and see what there is. I know for people like me in Selangor, I can't cross borders, but then even within my own border, I can see that there are at least places that I can donate food to and things like that.
It's a great initiative, right? Go download the app and play your part, because this is a time where Malaysians, especially those of you who are in the T30. T30 means top 30 percentile of Malaysians, right? In the household, income category. All of us have to go above and beyond to help our fellow Malaysians who are really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, every little bit helps in this, and then they just need a little bit to get footing, so that when obviously a lot of them haven't been able to work, a lot of them may have even lost work. So if they can just get that slight level ground or footing to get their maintain some stability. Then when things come back to normal, as it were, then hopefully things will be all right again.
Okay, great.
Okay, Karam.
Let's end the show with that. Fantastic. It's been really fun doing this. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please, put your comments down on social media when share this on YouTube channel. And we look forward to bringing you more interesting opinions and analysis of some of the more interesting stories in Malaysia's digital economy next week. Have a good, productive week ahead of you.
And Euros 2021.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
Thank you.
won't add that. Stop recording. Okay.